Before you cut any shirt again, watch this, because one small mistake here can ruin the entire fit. Hello everyone, you are welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, I will show you step by step how to cut and sew a standard boy shirt neatly and professionally. For this project, you will need just 1 yard of fabric. Let's get started. First, I have already cut out the fabric for the front and the back. For the front, I cut 2 separate pieces because it will accommodate the button plackets. For the back, I cut 1 full piece. Now for the length, the actual shirt length is 17 inches. I had 2 inches for seam allowance at the bottom and another 2 inches for overlap. That's for the back length. It gives me a total of 21 inches for the back piece. For the front pieces, I had an extra 2.5 inches for the button allowance. Next, for the width of the fabric, I use the chest circumference divided by 4, which is 25 inches divided by 4 to give 6.25 plus 2 inches allowance. Next, I will rule out a starting line. On the starting line, I will mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 5 inches. Then I will add 0.5 inch as allowance that I will use to join to the sleeve. For the armhole depth, I also marked 5.5 inches. Then I connect the lines. Next, I marked 0.5 inch for the shoulder slope. For older children, you can use 1 inch. Then connect it to the neckline. That is, you are going to connect the shoulder slope to the neckline. Next, I marked 0.5 inch for the shoulder slope. For older children, you can use 1 inch, then connect it to the neckline. That is, you are going to connect the shoulder slope to the neckline. Now, I divide the remaining armhole measurement, which is 5 inches, into 2. At the midpoint, I come out by 0.5 inch and shape the armhole curve. This divides the remaining armhole measurement, which is 5 inches, into 2. At the midpoint, I come out by 0.5 inch and shape the armhole curve. It helps to prevent bulkiness and gives a better fit. On the chest line, I mark the chest circumference divided by 4, which is 6.5 inches. Then I add 1.5 inches for ease and sewing allowance. Next, I mark the full shirt length of 17 inches and add extra 1.5 inches as allowance, as the seam allowance, that is the folding allowance at the bottom part. Because the chest, waist and hip circumference for this boy is the same, I use the same width all through the length. So I'm going to use that 6.5 inches and plus 1.5 inch allowance all through the shirts. Now I mark 2.5 inches for the front neck width and the front neck depth. Then I draw the neckline. That's for the front neck, 2.5. The next step is to go to the shoulder line and come inward with 1 inch. That is, I'm going to remove 1 inch from the shoulder line. But because I'm still going to join that shoulder, I will add back 0.5 inch. That is half an inch. That is the total inch that I'm going to remove from there now is 0.5 inch. What I'm going to do here now is to highlight the 1 inch I'm removing with a red chalk, and I'm now going to return back 0.5 inch, and I will mark that with a white chalk so that you can see it clearly. Now, I will carefully cut out the front piece. Make sure you do not cut through the button allowance, that's the button placket. Don't cut through it when you are cutting around the neck, just like I'm doing in the video. For the back piece at the upper part, I leave 1.5 inches. Then I maintain the foot shirt length, which is 17 inches. I use the same shoulder and armhole measurements as for the front. For the neckline, I mark 2.5 inches for the width and 1 inch for the depth. Then I draw a normal round neckline. Next, I come down by 0.5 inch for the shoulder slope and connect it to the neckline. Then I mark 8.5 inches across the chest and the lower parts and connect the line just like I did for the front. At the shoulder area, I add 1.5 inch. 1 inch for the overlap, that is the 1 inch that I remove from the front, and 0.5 inch for the stitching. I connect this to the neckline and blend it smoothly into the shoulder. Then I draw the armhole curve. Now let us cut the sleeve. Then I fold the fabric into 2, then fold again to make 4 layers, so I can cut both sleeves at once. Next, I take the biceps measurement, which is 12 inches. Divide it by 2 to get 6 inches. Then add 1 inch for sewing allowance, making 7 inches in total for the biceps. Then I mark 3.5 inches downwards and connect it to the top of the sleeve. I mark the 3.5 inches at the open side of the sleeves. Next, I divide that line into 4 equal parts. At the first point, I come up by 0.5 inches. At the first point, I come up by 0.5 inch and connect it to the tip. At the center point, I keep it straight. At the third point, I go down by 0.5 inch and connect it to the last point. Just like I'm doing in the video, watch closely. This will give you a smooth sleeve curve. The sleeve round measures 6 inches. You can check my channel for a more detailed sleeve tutorial. I measure the armhole and get 8 inches, which matches perfectly. The armhole circumference is 14 inches divided by 2 gives 7 inches plus 1 inch allowance. That's 8 inches. So the armhole is correct. I will be adding a strap to the sleeve, so I didn't include folding allowance here. That is for the cutting process. In the next tutorial, I will show you how to sew these shirts step by step. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.